Hey, everybody, welcome back to the John Hallett podcast. Today, we're talking about what to do immediately after a self defense incident. Really important stuff there. What to do after. As usual, I've got Josh joining me. How you doing, Josh?
I'm good. How are you this morning?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Great, man. I was just thinking about, ever having to actually dial 911. Kind of sucks when it goes down. So, yeah, I knew this one would be an interesting one because, it's not easy to call the cops, to get help. It's not, People
It's
don't
not.
people don't even realize how to do it.
Yeah, well, 911 first off. But yeah, I mean it's an important thing, even just as I say all the time, when you're finishing your self-defense, whatever it may be, even just hitting the heavy bag, you're moving away. You want to start to think, assess. If you're thinking the fight's over, you should be assessing and looking around. That's just, so huge. It's,
Yeah,
kind of number one thing to do. Move away, get to, a safe location if possible. But
sure.
for goodness sakes, like sometimes it's hard enough for people to move away and not get caught up in, okay, hey, it's your turn now. I'm going to attack you,
Sure.
or asking a question or whatever it may be, versus giving yourself that assess, move away. And at least I kind of say to myself, like I'm hitting pause, like, okay, boom, quick assess. All right, pause. Okay. Now I'm going to attack my partner and, let them get a rep
Sure.
is what I like to do, where I see a lot of times, so many times people just stop. They don't even actually get a decent retreat away, outside of a 3 foot zone, which, you're in clinch zone still. Never mind, I kind of try to get like, 6 to 9 feet away and kind of think I'm hitting the pause button.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
trying to make that distance so nothing. I just don't want to stay close. That way they can't grab a piece of me or keep throwing stuff. And just try and remember to move away. There's an old joke I used to say to people and during training. I would say, remember the number for 911 is 911 because there are people out there panic and they're like, what's the number for 911? It's kind of in the name. So know which one you're calling. And, figure out when to do that. You don't want to be pulling out the phone when they're still grabbing you, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, ensure that you're safe before you, get on that phone. But yeah, oh gosh, I mean, 911. I don't know if I told you. I had years ago, my friend's housemate, his old Bronco caught on fire, and we sent his cousin in to call 911, and he was looking in the phone book for our address
Oh,
before he
wow.
called 911. And this is on Little Nantucket Island.
Mhm.
And we had only been living there a couple of months. We weren't in the phone book. And
Wow.
we're like, we're right across from a beach everybody knows on Nantucket. Like, all you have to do is say to the 911 operator, there's a fire right across from Fisherman's Beach. They're going to be there,
But the panic set in, right? And he didn't know what to do, where
And
to
he was,
go.
yeah, and he's looking for our address to be able to give him, where the fire is and where your brain goes. I'm like, you didn't even call, they're not even on the line.
Yeah.
Because it was Nantucket Island. It was pretty simple. Like, go to Surfside Beach and take a left. You're going to be
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But
And you got to remember.
luckily, we had gotten it out with the garden hose before he realized we weren't in the phone book.
Yeah, I don't know what to say
So
to that other than don't set the Bronco on fire. Oh,
yeah,
that's terrible. But
yeah,
I mean, the
and
panic's real, right? People do start
yeah,
to set like
they'll
it's like,
misdial.
oh yeah,
People can misdial. All that stuff is really tough.
and
So
follow directions.
before here, we'll get a quick glimpse of what we're going to be talking about here, to anybody on YouTube. So check it out. But we are going to bring in, quote, a word from our sponsor. We've got a new little t-shirt. Hopefully it does well. Um, where I want to
Not wearing
remove
that as a
that guy.
t-shirt. There we go.
Where did he go? He's
What'd
gone.
you do? What'd you do with him? He doesn't even have a
I don't know.
name.
He's
I
gone. He was there before. There he
well,
is.
what are you doing? Oh,
Right,
I,
there he-
I love it.
All right. Fight or flight, kind of funny. Tough Penguin for those of you guys listening, but you can check it out at
Yeah.
shop.rmsdf.com. We've got our 2 stores that will support it, but this design right now for RMSDF is up there. I'll probably put a clear sky training design up there, but for all you Rocky Mountain self-defense and fitness students, we've got our new fight or flight guy. Kind of cracks me up. I kind of Tough Penguin. He's pretty cool.
A flightless bird with short legs. I love it. It makes me feel like me when I look at it. You know what I mean?
And we've got the athletic tee. You guys can see that in the left. Water bottle, a couple different size pillows. I thought that was cool.
On a water bottle? That's great on a water bottle.
Yeah, we got the tumbler, we got a water bottle. There's a couple different choices, but it's all, hey, support the store versus me putting stuff on the store and then nobody buys it. And I spent time putting something on there. But we got the women's tee, we've got, pullover, we've got a few different things. Socks. That's that weird thing right there in the middle.
Those are socks.
Really? Those are socks. I was like, I'll give them a try. That's kind of funny.
I mean, that's
the athletic tee, and don't get confused. Watch out for, the toddler tee. I think that's one is bottom right now on the video. But workout towel, workout towels on there. So a couple different things you guys can help support this podcast if you're liking it. Let's get rid of that guy.
I love the penguin.
Yeah. So 911. We talked about it.
What's your emergency?
Yeah, you make a good 911 operator.
Me? I actually, I probably would be like, could you tell me what's happening right now? Could you walk towards the individual and tell him to stop beating you?
Please, stop hitting you. Yeah. Stop hitting me.
Have you tried using your words?
Yeah.
I mean, the reason you're calling 911 is because something's already has happened or is going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, if you've got enough space and distance, getting 911 on the line and getting them coming to your location sooner versus later is always important. But, again, it's that almighty time, key to winning a fight. I need time. I need distance first too. But, I want to be the first one to report the incident. There's a good chance that the other person calls in and reports the incident and, you're at home eating a hamburger.
Yeah.
You're kind of looking like the more guilty person there. So I would be, even just something, a lot of us guys like, whatever. But, it is better to get your side of the story out there.
Yeah.
If it, especially, the higher up it goes into degrees of assaults, simple assault, maybe a little push. Maybe I'm not. Maybe, hey, maybe it's a good idea. Do I want to do that? Hey, it was a little pushing thing, whatever. But, that person could, have miraculous injuries now after this and turn the whole story around. So it's always better to report it than have the other person report that crime or, simple assault, whatever it may be.
Yeah. Start of the legal record with the 911 call. It's the only way documentation occurs. So it's got to start with you. Protect yourself. Dial 911.
Yeah, and keep it simple. I was attacked. I defended myself. I need police and medical help. Just keep it simple. Don't get into anything else besides that. I mean, as simple as you can. Give them your location. But I was attacked. I defended myself. Anything of that nature. You got to kind of practice that script in your own head. I was attacked. I had no choice. They had a weapon. I would leave it, no more than that.
Yeah.
I would not say, I shot someone, I killed them, anything like that. Any details about the story, trying to, say why you were justified in doing your what you did. None of that stuff. I would leave that completely out. Just, I need medical attention. Somebody on the scene needs medical attention. hang up or, put the phone, I probably
Down.
just hang up,
Yeah.
like leaving them on the line, and then whatever may be said is being recorded. And we all know we get excited, we say dumb things. We
Yeah.
talk about that in the kids class. Like you get all mad at your mom and then you tell her she's dumb or I hate you. You're the
You
worst
don't
mom in
love
the
me again.
world.
Oh. Which,
Because you got all emotional and you say something like that. So, in this instance, dealing with the police is going to be a lot worse. It's a close one though, than dealing with your mom. Saying
yeah.
she's the worst mom in the world.
You
But we
see,
say stuff when we're emotional, and you're going to have a lot of things going on after our self-defense incident. Even just getting amped up, just a simple little fight, fist fight. You're going to be pretty amped up. Never mind anything higher level. Somebody attacking you with a knife. You're bleeding.
mhm,
All of these things are going to come into play. And that gets into you want some first aid. You want
yeah.
first aid and more than, a band-aid.
Yeah. You need a trauma
So
kit at that
yeah,
point, and you got to dial 911 because you're probably going to need medical attention. I would certainly ask for an ambulance or something. If even if you don't think you need it, just have them come out and check you out. I mean,
yeah. I
starts
mean, it's
starts the
always
wreck.
better, but yeah, I mean, if you're cut, you need to attend to those injuries, ASAP, never mind if it's, something involving, you know, you need a tourniquet. I would probably go for the tourniquet before I go for 911. But
Yeah,
that's kind of
yeah,
going down another path.
right.
The police arrive on scene. Say
Eesh.
less, protect yourself legally,
Yeah,
make sure, weapons are down. If you were held at gunpoint, threatened at gunpoint, threatened by a knife and you're holding that knife or gun, you do not want that out. You could appear as, the
threat.
attacker.
Sure.
The police do not know there's a guy down and there's a guy standing up with a knife or a gun. You're
Mhm.
looking like the immediate threat, especially to them.
Yeah,
So you want to have that weapon down, secured some way, and it might be your weapon back in your holster and concealed, it might be down on the ground. I mean, that's going to be a judgment call for you. I really wouldn't put my weapon down unless the law enforcement were saying, put the
put
weapon
it.
down, put the weapon down. I wouldn't reholster. I would do exactly what they said and put it down on the ground.
Mhm.
But those are all things you want to consider. Didn't we have a guy here in Colorado a number of years ago that was shot by the police because he had the suspect's long gun? I believe I can't remember if it was an AR or
Oh,
whatever it
yeah.
was.
There were. I vaguely kind of remember that story, but yeah, they just couldn't figure out who the threat was. And police have to act, especially in a active shooter situation. So kind of sequester that weapon away. Like you got to do something with it, but you can't hold it to make yourself look like a threat. But you also can't let the person who had it or any of their friends get it back. Right. So there's that fine line that you just kind of got to put it in place if you can, where you're not holding it and showing it to a cop, right? Like
Yeah, it's just
if you,
that basic weapons, if you don't believe in them, that's one thing. But, if you're going to be handling that weapon, you need to be proficient in it. And that's where, something like a Krav Maga class, is going to teach you how to disarm. But we're also going to be like, hey, basic gun safety, take your finger off the trigger. People don't hold firearms put their finger right on the trigger all the time, and how to move around that gun. Even somebody last night put the one of the blue guns, long guns, uh, away, and they put the muzzle down. It's like, hey, don't put the muzzle in the dirt. Like
I just
every
don't.
time you're training with that gun, you want to be thinking it's real.
Mhm.
So even a blue gun, I'm treating it like a real firearm, and hey, we're gonna put it in a secure location. I'm not gonna put the muzzle down in the dirt.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's hard for people that haven't ever manipulated a firearm before. It's something you need to train with, and
Yeah.
you can make some big mistakes. We see that. That's our improvement, taking our training at RMSDF to another level. Everything we've added in with the Citizen Defender program and Todd Fossey. That has really added a ton to our, just Krav Maga gun takeaways and
Yeah.
how to, manipulate what range you're at. That's all stuff in our Citizen Defender class or our Peaceful Warrior class. So really hard.
One thing I want to
So,
throw in there is get yourself a lawyer and be careful what you say to the police. We love them. We do.
yeah,
But at the same
yeah,
time, you got to protect yourself legally. So save the
yeah,
details for your lawyer. Sorry, I'm just trying to get that.
yeah. You're getting ahead of the whole.
Oh, am I?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, that's all right. We'll get to
that's
that at the end. I can't help myself.
but we might forget it. So, but simple script. I'm the victim. I was in fear for my life. I want to cooperate, but I'd like to speak to my attorney before making a full statement. That's what you want to be saying, or something to that effect when the police arrive. I was the victim. I would like to talk to my attorney. I want to point out, right, weapons, there's shell casings. Hey, there's a ring camera right over on that door because, law enforcement are human. They can overlook stuff, point out security cameras, any type of physical evidence, identify the witnesses, where did that person go before? Like, hey, that guy was right here, where they might just slip away, identifying those witnesses of who they should be talking to. Like that guy was with him, or that guy,
Yeah,
over there.
accomplices, people that were hanging out with them. Yeah, like that's a
And
hard
by all
detail to follow.
means, stay calm and respectful. Do not insult or challenge anyone. And that includes law enforcement, right? You're going to amp them up, just like we talk about. Don't challenge people. Don't disrespect them. Be respectful. I'd like my attorney. I'd like my attorney.
Would like my attorney. They're expensive, but they're worth it.
Yeah. I'm not going to argue or debate with that officer, on their perspective of what would have happened. I'm not going to volunteer any long explanation. Don't get into, a breakdown like we do in class. Like, hey, what happened, Josh?
It was a dark and stormy night.
Yeah.
The next thing I know, we were standing in an alleyway. I was drinking. Those kind of details you don't.
Yeah. You don't, need those. We kind of go back, and kind of do a little after action sometimes on different scenarios. But that's not the person to get into the after action with. It's your attorney, in a real life scenario. We're just doing a little breakdown of what you saw, what you might have missed, anything like that, to try to capture those things. So the next time you're a little bit more aware of what you might have missed, or, good things that you did. And by all means, your tactics, or I should have done this, because your head goes, oh man, I could have done this technique, or, it would have been really great if I did this. No, none of that stuff, it is going to be traumatic enough, breathe in, breathe out, right? Relax, try to get yourself calm, and just speak to an attorney. That's, entirely better, in my opinion.
You're going to feel rushed when the police start talking to you. Relax, calm yourself down. There's no timeline on what's going there, right? They're going to start pelting you with questions. Sometimes all you do is just breathe to yourself and not say a word. I mean, that's the urge to talk is going to be great in all of us. We're communicators. It's what we're social animals, right? So there's a fine line of talking and then shutting up. I mean that in the nice possible way, right? Like, just shut up. Just
Shut up. Shut up, Josh.
Shut up, Josh. Okay. Like, and the people in your party, what happens if they start talking? You're going to be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Save it for the lawyer.
Yeah, especially somebody with you, like, hey, let's get an attorney. Let's, people start talking. That's tough. It's a really tough one.
Snitches. No, I'm kidding. We're trying to.
And always all this information, this podcast, and the image I brought up is all on clearsky.training, where you can train with us. We do mentoring there. We have our higher ticket one that I will work with you personally, kind of personal lessons via video and phone calls, video, whatever we need there is all on clearsky.training. There's tons of stuff on there. Our entire PDF on this episode will be located there. If you can break it down, you can go through, our quick reference, which we'll get to here at the end, is all on there. So check it out. It really does help support the podcast if you are, getting something from one of the shops or training with us on those videos. And we really do those videos for our students at RMSDF, and it just pays off. How much you're going to put into something. I was just, giving somebody a hard time because I missed the last test, and is there going to be an advanced test in September? And I laughed. I'm like, it depends on if you guys are training, like, and how much you're going to push it. At a certain point, basic, intermediate, is your self-defense training kind of a hobby? Getting into that advanced zone, this is becoming a lifestyle, and it's not something you're really doing 2 days a week. You got to step it up. I mean, I've talked about it, it's off subject to this one, but you got to be training hard, guys. Even if you're not trying to, promote up to a belt, are you really taking your personal security seriously? Because, a couple of times a week is just playing pickleball. You want to get expert level or, black belt. That's something you're doing just so much. I hate to put a number on it because, those numbers can fluctuate from week to week. But my goodness, if you're only training once, a week, 52 hours a year, that's,
Give me 52 hours. Good. That's about it.
I mean, that's just over a work week. A lot of people, I work more than 52 hours a week. So
I know you make me do it.
I'm lucky that some, a lot of it's self-defense. So
there is one thing I do want to say, like, just to piggyback on what you're saying, is that not only do you need to train, but you got to do it and make the mistakes here before you make the mistakes out there.
Yeah, because we all make mistakes.
Fail with us, so we can be successful on the times that we need to be successful. That's why we're here. That's why I'm with John.
So funny. All right. Post-incident legal and mental prep. You've really got to understand the 5 legal elements of self-defense, right? Imminence, proportionality, avoidance, and reasonableness. You didn't start the fight, right? You're innocent, but it's got to be an immediate threat, for you to do something. Are you matching their force with proportionality? Avoidance, you couldn't retreat. I'm not a huge fan of the stand your ground. In my opinion, I think you have the right, believe me, but if I can retreat, even if I have the legal stand my ground state, wherever state you're in, I would retreat whenever possible versus standing my ground and going, I'm not moving. I think it's a better, in a civil case, in my opinion, that, hey, I try to. Now, is there some time you cannot? Yeah, absolutely. But if you have a means of retreat, just because I can stand my ground, I wouldn't do it. I would get distance.
I will totally go flight. I mean, I will turn into flightless penguin. I will flap those little wings to get out of there. Turn into a really ugly hummingbird. Yeah. But run. If I run, I don't get stabbed. If I run, I don't get beat up. If I run, I don't get shot.
Yeah. Your actions were, what another sane person would do. It's reasonable. You weren't smashing somebody with a rock that slapped you in the face. A reasonable person is going to go, slap them back, push them back, something of that nature. Not, oh, they slapped you in the face and you went to guns.
Yeah.
That we see that all the time. You know, you're
Too high.
gonna. Oh, sorry, you got something on
I
there?
was going to say it's a little too high of an escalation on the old ladder there. Like,
Yeah,
it's a step, not well.
yeah,
Whoa.
yeah. Your mom told you to clean your room, and you're like, "You're the worst mom ever."
Right.
You just escalated that way beyond what
Right.
it needed to be. But
Negotiate.
your mental aftermath. You're gonna have an adrenaline crash. Some people
Yeah.
aren't used to experiencing that. Memory gaps. Emotional distress. And putting those pieces together when we do, things like bull in the ring, other drills, things will come back to me after, like, what happened there? Right? There's those little things that given time will come back. Hopefully. Sometimes you're just like, I didn't even know I did that. I've seen early on a Taekwondo tournament. I pulled off a move that I had trained.
Hmm.
I was like, oh my gosh, there it is in the video. I didn't even remember I pulled that move off,
Hmm.
you know. So those things happen, giving yourself time,
Okay.
like we talked about, get an attorney, but
Hmm.
some things might not come back,
Yeah.
that's just the way it is. Um, by all means, avoid posting or talking about the incident.
I can't believe you're saying this one, but yeah.
Um, you know, by all, like, don't do it. I mean, I would want potentially to take pictures for myself for my own
Yeah.
evidence, like,
Yeah.
that you have it. Um, but posting that, you know, I mean, it would be great if somebody's rolling video, your spouse, somebody, but by all means, do not post that out.
Yeah.
That's, you got to look at that as evidence, and people look at that now as like, look what the shit that happened to me.
Mhm. And you
Um,
don't think someone else's attorney or any attorney out there is not going to immediately go to all of your social media to see if you
yeah,
mentioned anything about it, and they see a post of you post incident, like, yeah, totally shot that guy today.
yeah. I mean,
It
even if
sounds
you were
dumb,
in
but
the
people do it.
yeah, even if you were in the right, it's going to make you
A monster.
shine in a bad
I
light.
know.
Like, hey, you wanted to do this. They're going to turn that stuff around. Like,
Yeah.
you wanted it, you provoked it, even if you didn't. Just by posting it, you're going to look
This is
kind of
what I
like a
trained for.
jerk. Yeah,
Shut up.
yeah. Do
You didn't
not
train for
post.
this.
Yeah.
Uh,
As we said,
uh,
seek legal counsel, um, and possibly a trauma counselor,
yeah.
somebody to help you deal with that aftermath. That we know, like, that's the terrible thing about attacking or being attacked. That
Yeah.
it's gonna haunt you. We see that with people in our gym. When they come in and they've been attacked, they're dealing with that. It's horrible. It's kind of like one of my latest things I was just telling the kids, that you need to look both ways. You're going to ruin somebody's life by going out in front of that person and they smush you. You just affected their life by your decision of not looking both ways. I mean, these kids are horrible. I mean, my wife I was just telling her this story that I'll tell you here in a sec. Um, that we're so reaction, we're going to wait until, you know, how many deaths happen, and put parameters around some of these things. I've said it before. I hate to be the old guy, but these electric bikes are going fast. These scooters are going fast, and these kids don't
Unbelievable.
have a driver's license, and they're cruising around like they're got
25
no,
miles an hour.
yeah, no cares in the world. Cars are supposed to stop to you. I don't know what these parents are saying. I'm like, I would tell kids, like, you don't look both ways, you're gonna get smushed.
Yeah. I mean,
You
you're
are
still
not.
a vehicle.
That's your self-defense against a car. Look both ways. You're out in the middle there. You're not
Yeah.
uh, gonna be a superhero and put your hand on the hood and stop that car.
Do you think they know the turn signals? Do you think they know that one?
Kids,
Yeah.
uh, dude, they
God,
don't
that's
even know left and right for the most part. As a general statement, I know
yeah.
some parents are out there doing the right things, but there's some of these kids, they're going fast. So last night I'm coming down. Yeah. Right before I turn on, well, I'm almost home, but there is a stop sign that people notoriously don't stop at. It's one of those flashing ones. And
Yeah.
I see people go through that. I'm like, whoa, I'm glad I was
Flashing.
noticing that car didn't look like it was going to be stopping. But this kid at this light, it's 8:30 at night.
Oh
It
my
is pretty
gosh.
much dusk here
Yeah.
in the summertime in Colorado. It's this kid went across this, cars are going, I mean, if they're not stopping, they're still going 45 at least, maybe 35. But I think the speed limit, and it's hard to even control your speed down the hill. You take your foot off the gas and you're still doing 40, if not 45. He
Oh
came
yeah.
across there, he had to be doing 25 to 30.
Which
And
is
when he
fast.
hit
Oh my gosh.
the street, like he came off the cross street, he was already doing 30. So I'm like, there's no way that kid, had slowed down and had that much speed when he hit
Yeah.
the street. He was just full on going. Yeah, maybe he's looking around, but do you really know the timing of that car? Do they really see you?
Mm.
Are
Especially at
they,
night. Oh my gosh.
are they?
Gravity with a battery motor on a bicycle, they have like no, I used to have to pedal to get up to speed. And at least there'd be a pause. You could see people pause in that pedal. Like, you don't go as fast, but as soon as you've got that bike now with the battery, it's just instant acceleration. And they could
Yeah,
be going
they're
30 down the hill. Usually they stop, but they just crank on that battery now. And it's like, oh my gosh,
yeah.
it's so fast.
I'm on record saying, man, there's got to be something with these kids. Oh, but it's fun. I'm like, I think you should be pedaling your butt around instead
Oh,
of. I
there's
mean,
pedals on them.
do they look like fun? Absolutely. We've done the
Right.
whole, rental scooters when we've been in different cities, and yeah, it's a blast. But you know, you got to have some parameters around it. I mean, even a lot of those cities aren't letting you ride on sidewalk because people are freaking smashing
Yeah.
into people and they're going fast on just a scooter. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. I don't know. It's the whole consequence thing. It's one of my other things. Hey, I messed up with the cell phone with my oldest. And we don't know
Uh,
these consequences, but I kind of say all the time, like these
mm,
kids are being tracked by their parents. I don't know what kind of, I'm not a psychologist. I don't know what kind of effects these are, but I do get the tones from our teenagers in the teen class of, yeah, my mom's tracking me. She knows where I am. Versus we were out there, our moms didn't know. And everything I hear from the moms is it puts me at ease knowing where they are.
yeah.
But what
Yeah.
about the effects of your kid?
Yeah.
Like nobody in history has known where their kid is. Moms have dealt with this before. I don't know. I'm just saying. I
Just
don't
since
know
the
what's
rise
right
of
or wrong.
humanity. I mean, boys and girls go do things. People do things all the
And
time.
parents worry, and they could still be wherever, and they could be in trouble. So
A
I
lot.
don't know. I don't know what this technology, is doing to our kids. That's all I'm saying. And I'm saying I screw up plenty.
Yeah.
Um,
I was going to say all of my mistakes in life happened when I was out doing something crazy, right?
oh,
But I
not even
learned a
that.
lot.
No, I'm just like parenting. Like I've
Oh,
messed up plenty,
no. I was talking
and the
about
kids have
myself
to
as a
make
kid.
mistake. Yeah. I mean, we got to make mistakes. I'm just saying like a stalker is traumatic to people. And now you have
Yeah.
a parent stalking you. Has anybody done any studies on this stuff? That's all I'm saying.
I'm
It's
going to
like
get my PhD with it now. I'm going to go study that and
something.
I'm going to publish.
Yeah. So that's just my like side note of stuff I think
Yeah.
about besides all this. If you think all I think about is self-defense, I think about stuff like that.
Hey, well, soon your AI will be with you everywhere you go. So, I mean, you'll be used to being tracked. You'll be used to having that companion, probably telling
Will
you
you
things like,
or will it mess with you?
oh, I didn't say it was going to be healthy. I
I didn't
just
say it's
said
going to be
you're going to have
healthy.
somebody with you for better
All
or
right.
worse.
Let's wrap this guy up. Quick reference, get safe, move to a safe area, call 911. I was attacked. I defended myself. I need help. Identify evidence, point out weapons, cameras, witnesses, say less, ask for a lawyer, stay calm, breathe, document, you know,
Mm.
don't confess um,
Oh,
is
good
your
one.
checklist, talk to your lawyer. And I say, like, document, take some pictures, take some video, have your own evidence to be able to go back to and give to your attorney. So that pretty much wraps up, I guess, this series, Josh, on the Clear Sky self-defense and fighting system. We've got couple things that we talked about doing next. Anything you're thinking of?
I want you to work on your book called Punching My Way Through Life. I think that's what we should talk about. We'll get it written, and we're gonna get that one done. That's what I want.
That's what you're punching your way through life. That's your title.
That's what I would put. I mean, it's got to be catchy if you want to be a New York Times bestseller.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we punch like this.
We punch like that. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Well, we'll move on. Let's end it.
Yeah. Medical podcast is what we've been talking about.
Yeah, that would be good.
Doing that. That's also a good in-person workshop. Absolutely. I do like 10 things dumb people 10 people dumb 10 dumb things people say about self-defense martial arts. I think that's kind of humorous.
Yeah.
I think I said hotel security. I think that's a good one.
Oh,
can be fairly quick.
Yeah.
There's some do's and don'ts. So
that'd be fun. We'll cover them. And when we get there, you guys will get it.
Yeah. So, hey, check out shop.rmsdf and or shop.clearsky.training. Check out our new design is on there. Fight or flight. That's just kind of a little humorous. I think, I didn't add the back. To the stage of the t-shirt, but that does have the principles on there. Everything yeah. And I think I put on there, like, seriously run. I think somewhere I put a little asterisk.
Yeah, seriously
on to our stuff. Like, hey, we're saying fight or flight out of humor. It's a funny t-shirt, but by all means, make distance. If you can get away, absolutely get away. Don't let your ego think you can fight your way out of whatever you think you can, because we all overestimate our ability. So it's always better to get out of there. As they say, it's better to live and fight another day than die unnecessarily or outnumbered.
Battlefield.
So, all right, gang, I appreciate you joining us. Check out those new t-shirts on the shop. All right, train more, suck less. Have a good day, guys. Thanks for joining us.